Good evening, this is Devipriya Unnikrishnan. Let's look at the headlines. Children excluded from Assam's NRC won't be sent to detention centers. Central government assures Supreme Court. Fuel prices surge in India. Petrol prices go up in 1 year. Stock market stumbled as Iran-US conflict intensifies. US House to limit President Trump's military actions. Safety of American citizens at the forefront, says House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Decision comes after the US airstrike in Baghdad. News in detail. Union government told Supreme Court on Monday that children excluded from Assam's National Register of Citizens, despite their parents being on the list, will not be sent to detention centers. An application had been filed in the top court on behalf of the families of 60 such children, expressing concern about their fate. A petition has been filed in the Supreme Court expressing concern about the fate of 60 children whose names are not in the Citizens Register but their parents are there in the list. The central government told the Supreme Court on Monday that those children won't be sent to detention centers. "I cannot conceive children being sent to detention centers and being separated from their families," said Attorney General K.K. Venugopal to a bench of Chief Justice of India S.A. Bobde and Justices B.R. Gavai and Surya Kant. The court issued a notice to the centre and the Assam government on the plea and gave them 4 weeks to reply. In the order, the bench also said children whose parents have been granted citizenship through NRC will not be sent to detention centers. News Desk, Redspo News. Fuel prices surge in India amid escalating Iran-US conflict. The price of petrol is the biggest increase in a year since Iran pulled out of the nuclear deal. Gold prices hit an all-time high and Sensex fell to 700 points.
Petrol prices were hiked by 15 paise per litre and diesel by 17 paise per litre. Oil companies in the country are raising prices of crude oil in the international market. Iranian military commander Qassem Soleimani was killed in a US airstrike at Baghdad airport in Iraq. In response to this, fuel prices have risen internationally. Iran-US conflict has severely affected Indian markets as well. Oil prices have increased at national level. Fuel prices rose by 3%. Meanwhile, trade continues to run at a loss of Sensex, which fell over by 700 points. Iran rolls back nuclear deal commitments. Iran has announced that it will no longer meet the restrictions imposed by the 2015 nuclear deal. Iran said it would not comply with any agreement on uranium enrichment. Iran's decision came after a cabinet meeting in Tehran. News Desk, Redspo News.
The US House of Representatives has decided to vote on a resolution this week to limit President Donald Trump's military action. This comes amid tension arises between the countries following an airstrike that killed a top Iranian general. US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has stated that prior responsibility is to safeguard the citizens of America. The House will introduce and vote on a war powers resolution this week to limit President's military actions regarding Iran. Massive crowds on the streets of Iran's capital Tehran for the funeral of Iranian military commander Qassem Soleimani, who was killed in a US airstrike. On January 3rd, Soleimani, along with other military officials, killed in Baghdad airport, followed by a US airstrike. Before we wind up, once again the headlines. Children excluded from Assam's NRC won't be sent to detention centers. Central government assures Supreme Court. Fuel prices surge in India. Petrol prices go up in 1 year. Stock market stumbled as Iran-US conflict intensifies. US House to limit President Trump's military actions. Safety of American citizens at the forefront, says House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Decision comes after the US airstrike in Baghdad. That's all from the English News Desk. Thanks for watching Redspo News.
You are watching Redspo News.